Hey Dragonauts, what's Dragonaut? Astos Flame back here with Azorius Soldiers, one of the best meta decks that can get you rising up the ladder. Before I tell you all about the deck, please hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on all the new decks for MTG Arena regarding Standard and Explorer, maybe some of the other formats. With that, let's get into Azorius Soldiers. What is this deck gonna do? It's in the name. It's white, it's blue, it's Soldiers. You go burr, you go face. You're gonna do this in a few different ways. Let's talk about some of the key aspects of this deck though and the creature base. Starting off, the 1-drops and the 2-drops. The Yoshin Frontliner Artifact Soldier. It is a 1-mana 1/1. When it attacks, another target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And this thing has Unearth. So even if Yoshin dies and hits the bin, it's going to be able to come back and you'll be able to attack with it right away with that Unearth, which is great. Resolute Reinforcements, a 2-mana 1/1. Wow, a 2-mana 1/1. Well, that doesn't seem really good. The nice thing here, though, is Flash. And actually, when it ETBs, it makes a 1/1 white soldier token. So you get 2 1/1s for the price of 2. Pretty standard going rate. Fill up your board state. And the reason you want this is the more soldiers you have, the better your board is going to be because of the Lord effects going on for soldiers. That's the next part of this deck. So first off, Valiant Veteran. 2-mana 2/2. Other soldiers get +1/+1. You've got Harbin, Vanguard, Aviator. Flying, 3/2 for 2, which is great stats. When you attack with 5 or more soldiers, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain flying until end of turn. That Resolute Reinforcements really puts you closer to that number of creatures at 5 to attacking to trigger Harbin, which is huge. Again, that's each creature getting +1/+1 and flying. That means basically your opponent's probably not blocking them. And with 5 extra creatures, that's 5 extra damage going at your opponent. That is just a huge chunk of life. I mean, that is a quarter, right? Lastly, in the same section is the Siege Veteran. Kind of like the Luminarch Aspirant, but 1 mana more, a 2/2 instead, with the added bonus here. Whenever a non-token soldier dies, you create a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token. So your creatures that die are going to replace themselves with more soldiers, which again, the more soldiers you have, that makes Harbin better. That makes Valiant Veteran better. All of that comes together to deliver a nice lethal blow to your opponent. Soldiers is all about either pushing your board state and just having like 3 or 4 good soldiers dealing damage in, or holding back until you can trigger Harbin to get that flying and finish your opponent off in one fell swoop. There are other soldiers that make this deck amazing, though. Let's talk about the removal. It is removal not in the traditional sense, except maybe one. This package consists of stuff that disrupts your opponents. First off, Thalia, the Guardian of Thraben. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. In the main deck here, everything we play is creatures. We're not going to get hurt by Thalia. What we are going to love about this is it upsets our opponent for their mana cost. So that turn 3 Fable, the Mirror Breaker, that counter spell, that removal spell, all of that now costs 1 extra, which is even better for us. In terms of actual removal of stuff from board, that's Brutal Cathar. When it enters the battlefield or transforms, you can exile target creature and opponent controls until Brutal Cathar leaves the battlefield. So, Day-Night Cycle flipping in as it becomes in the play on the front side, steal a creature. When it flips into Moonrage Brute and then flips back, steal another creature. Utilizing your spells and flash mechanics with Resolute Reinforcements is a great way to balance out day-night cycles against your opponent to steal creatures. You're not always going to be able to, abuse Brutal Cathar 3 or 4 times. A lot of the times, it's going to get you just 1 good creature steal, but that one is more than enough to win the game. And our last removal section here is Morale, the Shield of Argrave, a new card from Brothers War we've seen kicking around for a bit. The really sweet tagline here is, during your turn, your opponent can't cast spells, activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. So, no activated abilities from your opponent, no casting stuff on your turn. If Morale is down, your opponent cannot flash in a Wandering Emperor. Your opponent cannot use a removal spell. They cannot use a counter spell. They cannot activate anything on their side of the board, except for instant speed planeswalker abilities if that planeswalker is already in play. The other really cool thing about Morale is when you attack, you're going to get X11 soldier tokens where X is the number of soldiers you control. So your soldier army grows more and more and more as Morale attacks. And again, Valiant Veteran loves this. Harbin loves this. That just gives you the board state for a very quick lethal on your opponent with simply 1 or 2 cards. Now, as an aggro deck, you will run out of steam. There will be times where there are no cards in hand and it comes down to the top decks. That is where our card advantage pile in Soldiers is very beneficial here, especially with how we produce things. So first off, we got the Recruitment Officer. 1 mana, 2/1, so good aggressive stats. At that 4 mana, look at the top 4 cards of your library, reveal a creature card with mana value 3 or less, and stick in your hand, the rest go on the bottom. So you can start looking at the top 4 cards of your library, grabbing a creature that is 3 mana or less, which is everything in your deck but Morel, and add that into your hand. So you can start filtering through, grabbing the exact creature you want to play into the battlefield on the next turn. The last one we have is Skystrike Officer, 3 mana, 2/3 or flying, which is pretty sweet on its own. When it attacks, you get a 1/1 soldier artifact token, so this thing spits out more soldiers, which is great. But it's that last ability that I love. Tap 3, untap soldiers you control, draw a card. Skystrike Officer with a board full of tokens or soldiers is just amazing. You could draw 2 to 3 cards in a turn thanks to Skystrike Officer when your opponent is working to disrupt what's going on. So, flash in the soldiers, have them recur back from the graveyard, buff up the board, make a board state that triggers Harbin, protect your side with Morale, steal your opponent's creatures with Cather, Thali attacks them up, and then use Skystrike and Recruitment Officer to get in the soldiers you need. That is how Azorius Soldiers operates. There is one final really sweet tech piece in this list, though, in the main deck. It is the Fortified Beach card. When it enters in, you may reveal a soldier from your hand. It enters in tapped unless you reveal a soldier or you control a soldier. Really cool thing here is that last ability, tapping 5 and tapping it. Soldiers you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So not only have you buffed your board with Valiant Veteran, made more soldiers with Resolute Reinforcements and Skystrike Officer, and maybe Morale, but now your entire board is going to get +1/+1 from just simply playing a good land. Soldiers just does good work. But that's the main deck. Let's get into what we're going to do in our sideboarding. How are we combating control? Well, against control, you've got a couple different options. First off, Protecting the Negotiators, just a very good counterspell. Not only doubling in to force your opponent to tap out to pay for it, because you will have creatures forcing up that mana cost, but you can also kick it to make an extra soldier. So double synergy, increasing the tax and making another body. If you are worried about tons of board clears, Wedding Announcement is a great inclusion, not only factoring as a buff for your entire board state and producing 1/1s, but also creating card advantage as you need to attack in, so you can use it for card draw. If you're concerned about protecting key pieces, Valor Stance can also come in as well, using to gain indestructible on target creature. Looking to the mid-range matchup, very similar kind of idea, Protecting Negotiators coming in, counterspelling, making another 1/1, but you also want to bring in Loran of the Third Path, blowing up a enchantment or artifact your opponent controls. So, reckon your Bankbusters, done. Fable the Mirrorbreaker, out of there. You love it. When you're up against aggro, that is where the Wandering Emperor is going to come in as well. I did skip over one piece, and I do apologize about that. The usage in mid-range to Valorous Stance. Valorous Stance is a very good way to get rid of a She-Holder. So in mid-range, you'll also want to bring in Stance. Now I'll jump back to aggro. Against aggro, like I said, the only real inclusion we want to bring in there is Wandering Emperor. Usually against aggro, you just develop a board state where no matter what aggro deck you're up against, you are the problem. They have to deal with you. So it's less about you dealing with them. You just kind of have the lethal. But Dragonauts, that is Soldiers. Please enjoy the game. We are not going to keep this hand. We are going to go mulligan because one land is no bueno. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, nope, down to 5. Alright, that's better. I'll do a Plains Away, because these are multi-tappers. It is a damn good 5 EK, I won't disagree. Like, Officer and a Veteran into Siege Veteran's pretty good. Looks like we're up against mono white. Pop in Valiant. Fudge! Ah, missed a point of damage. because I went right to attack. All right, that's fine though. We still curving out here. We'll attack for 6. Another wedding announcement. Okay. That would be kind of nice. We're just gonna play in Yoshin here. Buff up Valiant Veteran, swinging with all of our critters. It's fine. We go down to 8 and we get a 1/1. Laron? Sure. I mean, Laron, yeah, that's fine. That's okie dokie. We'll bring in Resolute Reinforcements here. Playing Morel, not giving our opponent the chance for casting in anything. Getting that early crew though. And I am gonna just swing in full here. Let's buff up our reinforcements. Get them down to 3. Get some critters. I think we're looking all right. Ossification. All right, sure. You got it. I could double block that. Is that worth it? No, it's fine. I don't think it's worth double blocking. Another Laron. Alright, yeah, so it wasn't really worth trying to get in for the block then. They are at 3, though. Let's go ahead and bring in our Yoshin. And let's go ahead and make Resolute Reinforcements the 2. So they are going to go down to 1. And then we cast in Harbin from the top and make them have to have that board clear. Okay. Cather's not a bad draw for us. Now they need the board clear. Board clear or removal. Only way that gets them out of this. And I've got the Plaza of Heroes to play around the Wandering Emperor.
Now you've done it. That's coming off.
Had the Plaza. To the draw, we're going to bring in Protect the Negotiators. This is mono white mid-range, right? So in this instance, I like Negotiators, but I'm not a big fan of Cathar. Cathar does okay in this, but they do play just a ton of removal. So I'm better to try to counteract it with Protect the Negotiators and just, kick it to make a 1/1. There could be reason to bring in Wedding Announcement or Emperor. I think I'm just going to play only in with Protect. Let's go ahead and see how it goes. All right, we've got Harbin into Protect plus a Skystrike Officer. I'm actually a big fan of this. Harbin plus Skystrike Officer just goes over top of anything our opponents have. So we'll keep in the office. Hey, what's going on, Russ? How you doing? Happy Friday, bud. Welcome in. I just knocked over half my command deck. Sorry. Happy Tuesday. Oh, mull the 5 from the opponents. Uh-oh. Into Bank Buster. Alright, well. Let's just play out Harbin here. Thank you for getting a shout out to Jeffrey there. Much appreciated. Opponent on that mold of 5 and jamming in ossification already. Well, if they've already used an ossification, I am just kind of happy to play in Skystrike Officer here. Field of Ruin, that's sure. I can accept that. That's actually fine. At least they're respecting it though. And they're going for the draw. All right. You know what? I'm just gonna play in Thalia into Yoshin here. Tax up some spells, poke him for 2, and then enable me to draw a card. That seems pretty good. Seraph is fine. Companion also fine. Now they can crew the Bank Buster and give it lifelink if they want to, but it looks like they chose not to. This might be a slight waiting game for us here. So, I'm actually going to choose not to attack here. Trying to make mono green work because it's you. Yeah, let's just protect the negotiators, cancel out that steel seraph there. Or the paragon, sorry. Because it's you, Jeff. Mono green's your build, my dude, right? Going for the crew. Gonna give it lifelink. That's fine, I can take that. I honestly will take this and just go down to 15. That is fine to me. Not too excited about that Seacrum Coast, but still. Yeah, I'm just gonna hold up the counter spell again. I'll poke in for 2 in the air this time and get another 1/1. We'll pass the turn. Jeffrey does like mono green, has just land to certain. It's true though. Yeah, let's go ahead and protect the negotiators that wedding announcement. Yo, Shiv, thank you so much for that subscription, friend. Welcome into the Amber Dragon Legion, believing as a Dragonaut. You're our 9th subscriber of the week. Thank you so much, friend. Now, do I kill the Bank Buster here? That's the question. Because I could. But again, I don't think I will. I think I will actually just go down to 11 on this one. Because at this point, we're just trying... Oh, there's Harbin. Yeah, we're good. It does, but also Harbin? Into Veteran? Because that just works. I was hoping I'd get a Harbin here. Suddenly they're down to 6, and I've got blockers. I'm feeling pretty good. There's the card draw. They can't fare well here. If they do depopulate, Veteran just gives us our stuff. Can't be farewell. They don't have enough mana for it. They're 1 short. So that is game 2 after a mold of 5 in game 1. Like, you can attack me, I'll take it. Sure, no blocks, I'll take it. That's the game. So here's the other cool thing with Soldiers, right? Hey, Dragonauts, thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. It is always appreciated. Please remember to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all the new decks for MTG Arena. And with that, Dragonauts, as always, keep believing. I'll catch you next time.